My name is Sam Watkins. I served in the Army of Tennessee of the Confederate States of America from 1861 to 1865. I can't really be with you in person tonight because, quite frankly, I'm dead. I died in 1901, but you know, before I died, I wrote a book about my experiences in what some call the Civil War, others might call the War of Northern Aggression. The book was entitled Company H. It was simply the story of my company of men from Tennessee and things that happened to us. My word, we fought in some of the bloodiest battles of the entire Civil War, Shiloh, I suppose, being one of the worst. Of the 150 men who joined with me, only 7 of us were left at the end of the war. You know what? When you're facing death like that on a daily basis, it makes you think about your soul, brother, about where you're going to spend heaven, whether you're going to be in heaven or hell. And that's why I suppose a lot of preachers were always coming around the camp and holding church and preaching. And that's why so many of us came and listened to them, because we wanted to make sure we were on good terms with the Lord. Now, most of them preachers that we heard, they was good men. They loved the Lord and they preached with conviction. But I got to tell you the truth, there were a few of them that I wouldn't given you a plug nickel for. There was one, I'll just call him the Reverend LLD. Whenever he would come around to preach, nobody could understand his sermons. I mean, he used such big words. I think only the generals understood what the man was saying. But there was one day something really funny happened. Right in the middle of his preaching, there was a terrible ruckus that came from behind us. And we all turned around and looked startled, and there was a bull that had broken out from a local pasture, and he came plowing right through the middle of the church service, sent the Reverend LLD a-flying with his Bibles and his hymn books and stuff like that. It pretty much ended that church service, and a number of us commented on the way back to camp that that bull was not the first bull in that particular service. Well, I guess he had pretty much recaptured himself, and the next day when we were marching out to battle, he was riding on his horse right beside us, and oh my goodness, he was fit to be tied. He was telling us all about how we were going to send Yankees to hell where they belonged. And then he said, "Men, if you die today, you'll eat supper tonight in paradise." Well, just about that time, the Yankees, who had commenced to firing, a shell exploded right over the top of us. It startled his horse and it threw him off his horse and he landed on the ground. But I tell you what, it didn't stop him. He jumped up and started running to the rear as fast as he could. Most of us men took the opportunity to egg him a little bit. We said, "What's the matter, preacher? You lost your appetite? You're going to miss supper in paradise if you leave now." We never did see that preacher again, and quite frankly, that was fine with me. If I'm going to hear the gospel, I want to hear it from a man who practices what he preaches.